conceive for about a year, that's for about 12 months, and it cannot happen, then you are considered to have fertility issues. I know there are many ladies who will try for 2 months, try for 3 months, and they start running to the hospital saying that, oh, they cannot conceive, or maybe they even start blaming an uncle, or start blaming an aunt, or start blaming a friend, whereas they have not checked all of these other factors that can actually affect them. So we are going to look at these factors, which, like I said, we have already developed some of the factors in our videos, with some people who are watching for the very first time on the channel. You can check those videos, and if you have a question, you go ahead and ask your question. And please, I understand this is a public setting, and fertility is something that is sensitive. If you have a question that is too sensitive, maybe you indicate that you have a sensitive question. We might see the way we can do it. But if your question is that which you can talk to us, then it's okay. You express yourself. We see how we can answer in the best possible way. I will rest assure you that there are people watching at the moment who are even better off than the person speaking. Meaning, there are people watching at the moment who understand fertility very well, and your question can help. You may ask a question that they will help you answer in the best possible way. So under fertility, the very first factor, we have actually 5 major factors that affects fertility. There are actually 5 major factors that affect fertility. These factors are, we have timing, we have age, we have weight, we have lifestyle, and we have health and medicals. So those are the 5 major factors that affects fertility. I know if I may ask the young ladies watching, and even some men, do you think you have any issue with your fertility? You probably say you don't have any issue. Why? If you ask why, your answer will probably be that no, I've done all the tests. That you have done all the tests and everything is negative. All the tests here, you are talking about one particular factor, and that factor is health and medicals. Health and medicals is the last factor that affects fertility. You've left timing, you've left age, you've left weight, you've left lifestyle, and you've gone straight to health and medicals, because that is how most ladies do respond when you ask them. Say, no, I've done all the tests and everything is normal. Is that really true? It's not the case. So what is right timing when it has to do with your fertility? I want to assure you here that if one of these factors, that is timing, age, weight, lifestyle, health and medicals, if one of these factors have an issue, I bet you are going to also have some problems. Remember, we just gave definition of fertility as you conceiving for 9 months. It is not the conception alone. So if you are unable to have your healthy baby for 9 months, let me say you have miscarriages, then you have a fertility issue. you have a fertility issue. If you have miscarriages, you have a fertility issue. If you also have something like maybe ectopic pregnancy, you have a fertility issue because you are unable to have that baby for some time, right up to 9 months. If you have something like cervical incompetence, when the cervix cannot hold the child, right up to 9 months, then you also have a fertility issue. So fertility does not end. Yes, is unable to carry the pregnancy to birth. Fertility does not end at the level of you just saying that no, I'm pregnant. Because there are some ladies who say, oh, for your information, I've had 3 miscarriages, so I am not having issues with my fertility. No, you have, sis. You have. And the issue with your fertility is that you are unable to carry the pregnancy to birth. So if you're unable to carry this pregnancy to birth, then you have an issue. So that is why we started by saying that we have all of these factors, and all of these factors are going to affect you, either causing you not to even carry the baby, or giving you difficulties carrying the baby right up to 9 months. So if you have difficulties carrying the baby right up to 9 months, also understand that you have a fertility challenge. The very first factor is timing. Timing here has to do with your menstrual cycle. Yeah, that's it. So some just think that once they cannot, once maybe they have gone to the hospital and they check, say no, you have a problem here, then that is all. It is not all, because maybe all the other factors do favor you. Then you will be able to have your child when you solve that particular problem. So timing is the very first factor, and timing here has to do with you understanding your menstrual cycle. This is the basics. For those who have been following this channel, wow, Lady B, this one that you people allow your brother to come here with that energy. Why now? Welcome, Lady B. I was thinking that you and Sister Pam and Sister Yvette, people will come and give me the energy. Let me talk, because I'm not sound and the energy is not really there. Thank you very much for joining, sis. Wow. Healing here. Thank you so much for joining, sis. May God bless you. So Lady B and Sister Healy Hill, you're all welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We're actually talking on something about fertility. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. No, but I am stronger now, and with your presence and with the presence of those who I'm seeing at the moment, I am really stronger now. Yeah, it's not been easy. The whole of yesterday I've been trying to recover from this malaise. It's not been easy, but thank God I am a little bit stronger now. So we are trying to look at fertility by looking at the factors affecting fertility. So for those who are just joining us, I was just explaining that if you have been trying to conceive for 2 months, don't say that you have a fertility issue yet, because you need to try for some time before you start complaining. You don't just complain for 2 months, because infertility itself is when you are unable to conceive for some time, for about a year. It's not just 2 months, it's not just 3 months. So if you're a lady watching Maybe you've been trying to conceive and it's been 2 months, it's been 3 months. You are like, oh, the world is coming to an end. No, shouldn't. Then we also want us to understand that fertility, when they say you are fertile, it is when you can carry pregnancy from day 1 right up to the 9 months, that is right up to delivery. So fertility does not only imply that you are pregnant. No, you have to be able to conceive that child and you carry through right up to 9 months. Because if you have continuous miscarriages, for example, then there is an issue. Yes, then there is an issue. So we started by looking at the very first factor. So we said there are 5 major factors that affect fertility. These factors are timing, age, the weight, that's healthy weight, or weight in general, lifestyle, health, and medicals. So these are the 5 major factors that affect fertility. If you have been trying to conceive and maybe you lay emphasis only on one, because most ladies will lay emphasis only on health and medicals, and when you ask them, no, I've done all of the tests and I am fine. If you run all of your tests, of course you cannot run all of the tests, that's for sure, especially for us in Africa. You can't run all of the tests. You don't have that money to run all of the tests. Unless you are also rich, you just say, no, they don't run you everything at once. Because it's a step-by-step thing. So if you see your doctor will tell you, okay, we'll start here, we'll check this one. If not, you come for a review. So if you run your test and your test actually came out maybe negative, that's major tests like the STDs and other things came out negative, please understand that there are other factors that can affect your fertility. Sister Ernestine, welcome. Sister Tembang, I'm sure it is sister. Welcome, thank you so much for joining. No problem, no problem. Okay, it's okay. Thank you very much, sister here. So, timing here is a very first factor. Timing here is a very first factor, and it has to do with your menstrual cycle. Your menstrual cycle is the core. The right time to have sex. The right time to have sex. Thank you, Sister Hill. The right time to have sex is the main thing. So, timing here has to do with your menstrual cycle, because your menstrual cycle is actually like the foundation. You know, even if you're negative for all the STDs, but you don't know when you ovulate, it makes no sense at all, isn't it? It makes no sense. You can't understand when you ovulate if you don't know your menstrual cycle. Your menstrual cycle should be the one to tell you when you ovulate. So you need to understand your menstrual cycle very well. I know I've done a lot of explanation about the menstrual cycle. Please, if you still have issues with that, I am always ready. Personally, we can work on it. Yes, we can work on it, either on WhatsApp or maybe Instagram or whatever. So personally, we can work on that. So the right timing is the most important thing. And even if you don't want to have a child now, timing is still the key. So if you don't want to have a child now, then you have to understand exactly that, no, this is when, if I meet with my partner, I will not have a child. So your menstrual cycle is always the key. Yeah, your menstrual cycle is always the key. It's the key from start to finish. So that's why your menstrual cycle, the right time to have sex, is the very first point. The next point is age. Each year is something that we all need to understand, that age will affect your fertility irrespective of any other factor. Age is like the devil incarnate, because you might just be and you say, no, I'm 35, I'm 38, whenever I want to get pregnant, I will get pregnant. No, it is not the case. It is not the case with age. Yeah, thank you so much, Lady B, I tell you. So age, just imagine, did you know that when you're born, that's the very first day you're brought on earth, you have all of the eggs that you will ever need to have a child or to have your children. That is how age affects you. So when you're born as a lady, you're born with all of the eggs that you need. It therefore means that if you're 12 years old, your eggs are 12 years old. If you're 20 years old, your eggs are 20 years old. If you're 30 years old, your eggs are 30 years old. That is why you must have seen in some of the videos that were made, and for those who are following the page, I've been mentioned that age is the single most important factor that affects your fertility. Because age will affect your fertility irrespective of any other thing, since you grow with the eggs. But for the man, age affects the man, but not as a woman. Because for men, your sperm cells are being produced as you grow. So after some time, you have a production. After some time, you have a production. After some time, you have a production. You have new sperm cells producing. So it is different from a lady. But for a lady, when you're born with everything that you need. So God gives you everything. So if God is saying that, oh, Sister Lady B, for example, you are going to have 200 children, then it therefore means you will be given 200 eggs. Each time you menstruate is minus 1 egg. Each time you menstruate is minus 1 egg. Each time you menstruate is minus 1 egg. As the years keeps on increasing, that is how your eggs are getting older. So by the time you are 20 years, for example, your eggs will be 20 years old, and if God gave you 200 eggs, and you're menstruating, let me say for 10 years, maybe you started menstruating at the age of 10, maybe you started menstruating at the age of 10, then by the time you reach 20 years, it will be 200 eggs minus 10. So you already have 190 instead of 200. And at that 20, these eggs are now 20 years old. So that is why age single-handedly can stop you from getting pregnant. So if you're a young lady and you're still 24, you're still 25, you're still 26, you're still 30, please, make sure you start having your kids as early as you can, please. That's my plea for you. Start having your kids as soon as you can. Don't keep on accumulating it, please. you may want to have the birth nature, which is age. So if you're a young lady, you're 24, 25, 26, right up to 30, it will interest you to understand that after 30 years, the rate at which now you can come. If your daddy accept that you can have a child anyway, they can come. Let us start it now so that you can have your children as soon as possible. So as you clock 30, that curve, please, the curve starts declining. At 40, it is almost at 20%, and after 45, the probability of you conceiving, it is almost zero. Now, we are not saying that after 45 you cannot conceive. Please, this is just statistics, please. But we are just encouraging that you make sure that you can have your kids as early as possible. Please give me 1 minute. So thank you very much. So we are looking at factors affecting fertility by looking at the general overview of fertility. And we have said that the very first factor is timing. So timing is the very first factor. So understand your menstrual cycle. If you have issues understanding your menstrual cycle, please. We have videos there about the menstrual cycle, or you can indicate, we can see how we can solve that. There'll be no problem. Yeah, even if it means by talking one-on-one with somebody to explain it to someone, there is no problem. We'll be ready to do that. The next thing is age, and we have just said that age is the single most important factor that affects fertility. So for those who are still maybe very young and you're thinking, please, if you have your hobby by you, maybe you start having your kids as time goes on. Even going to school, there's no problem. You can have your kids while going to school. I don't think there's a problem with that. The next thing is weight. And this is where it will catch most of us. If I may ask you, please, if you're watching at the moment, do you think your weight is healthy? Do you think you have a healthy weight? And if you think you have a healthy weight, how do you know that the weight is healthy? How do you know that your weight is healthy? It's a good weight, it's okay. How do you know? So if you have an idea about that, please, just put it in the comment section. All right, no problem, no problem. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. God bless you. So if you have a healthy weight, please let us know in the comment section. Because this is where most people will fall in that trap. Now here is the formula. In place, use this formula. You do your calculation. Maybe you use your phone. I don't know, unless you're using your phone to stream, to like I'm doing. If you're not using your phone to stream, Use your phone and do this calculation on how to calculate your healthy weight. So your healthy weight is actually your BMI. So if you have a good BMI, then your weight is okay. If your BMI is below a particular number, your weight is probably below or you're underweight. And if it is above, you're overweight, and there's a particular level where you are obese. So you take your weight in kilograms. Take your weight in kilograms, and you divide it by the square of your height. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sister Joy, for joining. May God bless you. So take your current weight. Take your current weight and divide by the square of your height, and give us the answer in a comment section if your weight is normal or abnormal. Just take your current weight, then you square the height. You take that current weight, you divide by the square of your height. If your answer is below 18, if your answer is below 18, actually it's 18 point something, but I'll just use 18. If the answer is below 18, then you're underweight. If your answer falls between 18 to 25, let me just use that, then your weight is normal. If your answer is above 25, right up to 30, then you're overweight. If your answer is above 30, you're obese. I bet you try this now and give us your answer below. You're going to see that you are probably overweight or obese without knowing. And that is a major factor that affects fertility. Your fertility is affected whether you're underweight or you're overweight or you're obese. So just do this and give us your answer, please. Unless you're using the phone. If not, or if you have a calculator, take your weight, then you take your height, you square your height. The square of your height, square means multiply that thing by itself. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you. So take your height, square that your height. So take your height, you multiply it by itself. Then you take your weight in kilograms and you divide it by that answer. Let me take, for example, you weigh 100 kilograms, for example. You weigh 100 kilograms, for example. Your height is 2 meters. You weigh 100 kilograms and your height is 2 kilograms. It's 2 meters. So you square that height. Square means that what? You take the height, you multiply by itself. So 2 times 2 will be 4. Then you take now the weight, you divide by the height. So weight divided by 4. So it will be 100 divided by 4. 100 divided by 4, simple mathematics will tell you that it is 25. If you can have 25 and your weight is actually 100 kilograms, your height is 2 meters. You have 25. 25 means you are just overweight or you are just normal. But do you know why? It's because that height was an excellent height. People with very good height, people with very good height, they are going to avoid being overweight. If you're short, there is a probability that you will be overweight or obese. So just go home, take your height, square it by 2, that's multiply it by, let me say your height is 1.5. So 1.5 times 1.5. You have your answer, you keep. Then you take your weight. Let me say your weight is 70. So you take 70 divided by the answer that you got from. So that is how you know if you have a good weight. I need to explain this because a lot of us, we just eat. When we see food, we eat. And when we climb on the scale, we are 70, we think we are normal. You might not be normal. You might not be normal. Your weight might not be normal until you can calculate your BMI and it's okay. So you go home, do this calculation. Now, whether you are a male or you're a female, healthy weight affects everyone. So don't say that no. No. Whether you're a male or you're a female, healthy weight is good for everyone because healthy weight will also help in fighting heart diseases. It's not like if you have healthy weight, you fight heart diseases. But people with very poor weight, like maybe they are obese, the probability of those people having cardiovascular infection is higher than you with a good weight. So go home, try this, and maybe you come back here and put your answer in the comment section. We'll be ready to welcome you because I'm sure you'll get some staggering result. You will not know that your weight was not healthy. So this is the third factor that affects fertility. Weight. Weight is actually the third factor. We have discussed timing. We have discussed age. We are now on weight. So we're saying that weight is the third factor that affects your fertility. So if you have issues with your weight, make sure you can correct it. Make sure you can actually correct this. Healthily by avoiding the aspect of eating very late in the night. You know, some of us we can get up even at 2 p.m. local time, 2 a.m. local time. We go to the pot and we'll look for food and we start eating. So one way is to make sure you regularize the way you eat. The next thing is exercise. Make sure you can have good exercise that can help you cut down some kilos. Now this exercise is not like it's going to cut you down at the moment, but it's going to build you up gradually, right up to when you have a better weight. So you feed well, avoid over sugary stuff, and do exercise. Feeding well here, we are saying that you eat the right thing at the right time. Avoid eating too much. Avoid eating too much. Yes. Make sure you eat what is necessary, and if you must overeat, then it would be better you overtake your breakfast because it's going to burn throughout. Your breakfast is going to burn through from breakfast, afternoon, that's your lunch, right, your dinner. But if you take your dinner, if you eat your dinner very heavy, I bet you the probability of you having a weight that is not healthy is higher. There is an order that we all can do. If you look at, you take 3 different situations. Let me say small, smaller, smallest. So your breakfast should be small, your lunch should be smaller, your supper should be smallest. Or we have big, that is from your dinner. So there is big, you are coming down, bigger, that is lunch, biggest, that is breakfast. So your breakfast should be heavy. In that way, you're going to avoid some type of unnecessary fat. Overweight will not be your portion if you eat that way. Trust me. So that is weight. The next factor is lifestyle. Lifestyle here will affect everyone as well. Whether you're a man, you're a woman. Because with lifestyle, we're talking about what? We're talking about smoking. We're talking about drinking alcohol. We are talking about taking caffeine, coffee. We're talking about chemicals that you interact with. And we're talking about nutrition. So you see that nutrition here under lifestyle. Lifestyle is a fourth factor that affects fertility and it affects your general health. So under lifestyle, you will see that there is nutrition, meaning you need to feed well. Just like what we are saying, that word, your breakfast can be heavy, your lunch should be down, and your supper should be the smallest, not the reverse. You drink alcohol and you're trying to conceive, please curb down on this alcohol or you stop it completely. If you're pregnant and you still consume a lot of alcohol, you still need to understand that it can affect your unborn child. It can, just like smoking, because of smoking, the best way to do if you're a smoker is for you to stop smoking. So if you're a smoker, the best thing to do is to stop smoking. If at all you want to have children as soon as possible. If you can't stop smoking, of course, meet someone who can counsel you and direct you on how you can moderate your manner of smoking. In this way, you are going to improve your fertility. Now, whether you are a man or you are a woman, smoking also affects everyone. So if you are a woman and you smoke, please understand that smoking will affect your fertility. Smoking will affect your unborn child. You may have preterm labor, that is, having your child before the normal time because of smoking. Now, the next thing is caffeine. People who drink a lot of coffee, please understand that it affects your fertility. Understand that it affects your fertility. So if you're trying to have a child, you're planning to have a baby, you're planning to start a family, then make sure you curb down on drinking a lot of caffeine, chemicals. Chemicals here, we need to just be careful with our environment. You know, there are people working in areas that are so suffocated. You are working, let me say you're a painter, and you inhale this paint, and this paint, some of them, they cause irritations and you feel like vomiting. If you're pregnant, that can affect you as well, and it can cause an issue to your child. And the last one under lifestyle is actually food and nutrition. That's the food you take. Make sure that you take it rightly. Like we've said, make sure that the food you take, if you can take your food, breakfast should be maybe the largest, your lunch should be the second largest meal, and then your dinner or your supper should be the least. So if you used to eat, please go and moderate the way you eat, and make sure that when eating, don't eat right towards the end of your towards when you're going to bed. No. It is proper that if you can eat at least 2 to 3 hours before you actually go to bed, it's good. So if you're going to bed at 10 o'clock, at least eat by 8. If you're going to bed at 10 o'clock local time, please eat at least by 8. This will give room to the system to actually digest. So this is actually an overview. This is a 4th point under our overview of the fertile on your fertility and factors affecting fertility. The last point, which is health and medical, that's the point you are used to it. That's the point everyone here knows. That's the point that you know that no, if I don't do this, it will affect my fertility, so I need to do this. So if you have an STD, you have a disease situation, you're suffering from PCOS, you're suffering from issues, you have issues with your tubes, you have an STD, and under STD you have a lot that can cause your fertility issue. Now it is also for both men and women. So if you're just joining us, we have been discussing factors affecting fertility by giving an overview of fertility. So we've made mention that there are 5 major factors. We have timing. The right time to have sex is the first factor mentioned. The next is age. The next is weight. The next is lifestyle. And the last, which we are on, is health and medical. So if you have been trying to conceive for 1 month, 2 months, please do not say that, oh, come on, those uncles, they have done it again, I cannot conceive, they were jealous of me. Please make sure you check on all of these points. You visit your doctor, talk with your doctor, and all of these will be revisited such that you're fine. By the time all of this is revisited, I bet you're going to come out with a better explanation to why you cannot conceive at the moment. Because for all those trying to conceive, I believe and I hope that you're going to get your baby. I know that you're going to have your own child, carry your own child, suckle your own child, take your child and run around like every other baby. So don't give hope, don't give up your hope. Please, if you're a lady watching this at the moment, understand that fertility takes time. It is not just like water. We may think that it is just like water that as you do like this, you're pregnant. No. There are steps, just like we've mentioned, that you are going to undergo. Did you have sex at the right time? You had sex at the right time? Okay. Check your weight. How is your weight? Is your weight okay? If your weight is not okay, then you check on it. Yes, you will. If your weight is not okay, make sure you check on it. If the next thing is your lifestyle, make sure you check on your lifestyle. Do you smoke? Do you consume a lot of alcohol? Do you consume a lot of caffeine? Do you work in a factory where maybe chemicals are being used a lot? Is your dieting okay? Once you can pick up all of this, then you move now to the last one, which is health and medicals. Health and medicals alone is a whole history on its own. That is where you will stay with your doctor for even 1 year, 2 years. They'll do this one and you come back, maybe do another one for people who are having issues conceiving. So if you have any issues conceiving, please, you will conceive, but understand it's a gradual process. God Almighty is the finest biologist. He knows everything. That's why there are all of these factors. Yeah, we understand some people will just do like that and it is in. While others, they have been married for 12 years, 15 years, it's not in. Yes, we understand. But God Almighty knows best. Don't give up. I used to tell every lady, don't give up. You may slow down your momentum, but don't give up your pursuit to have your own child. I'm saying that even if you're 55, don't give it up. You will probably have your own child. God's being our helper. You know, Sister Stephanie, sorry that you're joining just now and you really needed this topic. Okay, Sister Stephanie, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate that you're joining that a little bit late. Nonetheless, just follow up. We'll try to make a recap. So, health and medicals is the last and the longest point that has to do with you maybe having issue with your fertility. Health and medicals. So if you've been having issues conceiving and maybe you pay attention only to health and medicals, it is normally not the best thing for you to do. I don't advise you to pay attention only to health and medicals, but I advise you to pay attention to all the other factors that affect fertility. Make sure you have sex at the right time. And what's the right time? The right time, the best time for intercourse for you to be pregnant are those days around your ovulation. Remember, ovulation starts from day 7th right up to day 21. Ovulation starts from day 7. So some people have their own ovulation on day 7. When they don't menstruate, they just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From the first day they menstruate, they count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are ovulating. I know we used to have that mentality that no, ovulation is day 14. I'm sorry. Ovulation is day 14 if and only